For 4,500 years, the great Sphinx of Giza has stared silently toward the rising sun. It's a monolithic guardian, carved from a single piece of bedrock, its gaze holding secrets as vast as the desert itself. But what if the greatest secret of the Sphinx isn't what it's looking at, but what it's hiding right beneath its paws? What if the Sphinx is like a giant, geode solid, ancient rock on the outside, but hiding a crystal-filled world within? A network of passages leading to a discovery that could rewrite history as we know it? The Guardian of Giza. For centuries, we've been told a pretty straightforward story. The Great Sphinx is a giant portrait of the pharaoh Khafre. Carved around 2500 BCE, it was built to stand guard over his pyramid complex, a massive symbol of royal power. The scale alone is staggering, over 240 feet long and 66 feet high, a silent shout across the millennia, telling us just how brilliant its creators were. This is the official history, the one you'll find in most textbooks. It's a story of a king, a tomb, and a guardian. For a long time, that was enough. The Sphinx was a wonder of the ancient world, sure, but a wonder with a known purpose. But history is rarely that simple, is it? Whispers and legends have always clung to the Sphinx, like ancient vines wrapping around a stone wall. Roman scholars like Pliny the Elder wrote of rumors that the Sphinx was hollow and held a king's tomb. Medieval Arab writers spoke of secret doors and hidden treasures. For a long time, these were all dismissed as folklore, the stuff of fantasy. But as modern archaeology began to peel back the layers of sand and time, like unwrapping a forgotten gift, it became clear that some of the legends were actually true. Tunnels and chambers do exist, and that one fact is like a wrecking ball to the accepted story, forcing us to ask, what else were they right about? The myth of the Hall of Records. The most tantalizing legend is that of the Hall of Records. This idea was thrown into the spotlight in the 1930s by an American mystic named Edgar Cayce. While in a trance, Cayce claimed a hidden chamber lay right beneath the front paws of the Sphinx. This wasn't just any room. It was a library, a hall of records built by survivors from the lost city of Atlantis. He prophesied that this chamber held scrolls with the complete history of humanity, a history far older and more advanced than we could possibly imagine. According to Cayce, this incredible knowledge was meant to be rediscovered near the end of the 20th century, sparking a new age of enlightenment. It's a captivating story, mixing the mystery of ancient Egypt with the allure of Atlantis. And for a lot of people, it became an obsession. Fueled by Cayce's predictions, team after team has surveyed the area. Using technology that works like a high-tech fish finder for the Earth, researchers scanned the ground and found anomalies in the bedrock under the Sphinx. In 1993, one team even confirmed an anomalous chamber right where Cayce said it would be. The news exploded. Could this be it? The library of a lost civilization? But this is where fact and fiction start to split. While these anomalies have been detected, Egyptian authorities have been hesitant to allow large-scale digging. The famous Egyptologist Dr. Zahi Hawass, former Minister of Antiquities, has been adamant. He confirms tunnels exist, but insists they have nothing to do with the mythical library. After years of research, not a single scroll has ever been found. The radar blips remain just that unexplained shadows. They could be natural cracks in the stone, like air bubbles in a loaf of bread, rather than deliberately carved runes. The tunnels that are real, so if there's no Hall of Records, what has been found? The truth is just as fascinating. The Sphinx isn't a solid block of stone. It's more like an ancient piece of Swiss cheese, riddled with shafts and tunnels, some ancient, some not so ancient. Let's start with what we know. There are several key passages that have been explored. One well-known shaft behind the head was likely cut by treasure hunters long ago. Another, nicknamed the Rump Passage, is a 15-foot deep tunnel at the rear. Archaeologists Mark Lenner and Zahi Hawass concluded it was likely an ancient construction project that just stopped. A tomb that was started but never finished, like a half-built house left to the elements. Then you have Purring's Hole, another cavity thought to be an unfinished Old Kingdom tomb. And near the northern paw is the Keyhole Shaft, also considered an abandoned tomb. In 2019, Dr. Hawass himself led a major excavation, rediscovering tunnels leading to large natural caves under the Sphinx's body. His point was clear. Think of the Sphinx less like a building with hidden hallways, and more like a solid mountain. Yes, it has caves and holes, but his conclusion is that every passage investigated is either a natural feature, an abandoned tomb from the Pyramid Age, or a crude hole dug by looters centuries later. So far, no great discovery has been announced from any of these tunnels. No treasure, no forgotten kings, and definitely no library from Atlantis. The water erosion controversy, but the story of what is under the Sphinx is tied to an even bigger mystery. How old is it? The official date of 2500 BCE is based on its proximity to Khufu's pyramid. But what if the stone itself tells a completely different story? In the early 1990s, geologist Dr. Robert Schoch dropped a bombshell on the world of Egyptology. He argued that the erosion on the Sphinx wasn't caused by wind and sand. He claimed it looked like a cliff face that had been blasted by waterfalls for centuries. The deep vertical grooves were not the work of wind, which acts like a sandblaster, but of heavy rain, which cuts down like a knife. Here's the problem. The climate in Giza hasn't been that wet for a very, very long time. For the Sphinx to be this eroded by rain, Schoch argued, it would have to be thousands of years older, perhaps dating back to 7000 BCE or even earlier. This water erosion hypothesis was, and still is, incredibly controversial. Mainstream Egyptologists argue the Sphinx is made of relatively soft, layered limestone. Think of it like a giant cake with hard and soft layers. The softer parts would naturally crumble faster, creating deep grooves without any need for ancient super rains. And yet the theory persists. If the Sphinx is thousands of years older than the pharaohs, then who built it? It would imply a sophisticated civilization existed in a period we think of as prehistoric. This is the foundation of the lost civilization theory. While there's no direct proof, the water-worn stones of the Sphinx continue to fuel one of history's greatest debates. So where does that leave us? We're caught between two powerful stories. On one hand, you have the official archaeological record telling a story of pharaohs and tombs. On the other, you have geological anomalies and persistent legends of lost knowledge. What do you believe? Is the Sphinx a 4,500-year-old monument to Khufu, or is it a 9,000-year-old message from a lost chapter of human history? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you love unraveling ancient mysteries, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next investigation. The frontier of discovery, this debate is far from over. Modern technology is pushing the boundaries of what we can explore. Think of cosmic ray muon imaging as a kind of medical X-ray for pyramids. It uses particles from space to see through solid stone, creating a map of what's inside without ever lifting a chisel. And this isn't just theory, it's happening right now. In May 2024, a joint Japanese-Egyptian team announced the discovery of a mysterious L-shaped structure buried near the Giza pyramids. Using ground-penetrating radar, they found what they believe is a man-made feature, possibly the entrance to an undiscovered tomb. Excavations are now underway. These technologies promise a new golden age of discovery. It's entirely possible that one day soon, a scan will reveal a void that isn't just a natural cave or an abandoned shaft, but a sealed chamber left untouched for millennia. So, is the Sphinx hiding ancient secrets? The answer is a definitive yes, but they might not be the secrets of legend. The secrets it holds are locked in its stone, in its weathering patterns, and in the bedrock it was carved from. It holds the secrets of its own construction, its true age, and its original purpose. The known tunnels aren't portals to Atlantis, but they're like the Sphinx's diary, telling a messy story of abandoned plans, tomb robbing, and our own unending desire to find treasure. The legend of the Hall of Records remains just that, a legend with no archaeological evidence to back it up. Yet the greatest mystery of all endures. The Sphinx's silent, enigmatic gaze seems to challenge us, to mock our certainty. For all our technology, we still haven't answered the most fundamental questions with absolute confidence. Who built you? And when? Perhaps the final truth isn't buried in a hidden chamber, but is written in plain sight on its weathered face, a story so old we've simply forgotten how to read it. The search continues, and with each new scan we get one step closer. But until that definitive discovery is made, the great Sphinx will remain the keeper of its secrets, a timeless riddle in the sand.